Mom passed away on
Karen Lewis came to Belize on March 18 to bury her
14th, which was
mother,
a
and she
Thursday.
says that the Southern Regional Hospital
Somewhere
brought
around
them
9:30 at
additional
night
grief and
at
stress
27
after her
Regional
mother died.
Hospital.
75-year-old Juliana Palacio Castillo died on Thursday, March 14th, at the hospital, and her body was later stored in the morgue. 4 days later, Lewis says her family got a call from the hospital asking them to remove the body because they didn't have enough space. But the family says that they didn't have anywhere to store the corpse and informed the hospital that they were already working with a timeline for the funeral.
We got another call from a very close family member who was there and was being told that my mother's body was decomposing in the morgue. So she accessed the morgue and she saw the condition of the body. And basically we were called and we were told that this is what's going on, and that they were going to make an attempt to try to save the remains that was there. So I don't know if it was a shot or something that they tried to do something. But the thing that was even more troubling, considering that they said that that they needed the space and that the morgue was full, it wasn't plugged in. And so the first question that I asked was, well, is it working or it's not working? No, it's working. It's just not plugged in. So that's just bizarre to me and very, 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 very disturbing.
Lewis says that on the following day, on March 19th, they met with the administrator of the Southern Regional Hospital, Ernestina Hill. She shares how that meeting went.
And we told her what our concerns were, and she basically said, no, it's not your mom, it's someone else in question, which is just as horrible, right? So, and she says, no, there's just really not a problem. I can assure you that it's okay. There are times that we have to plug the refrigerator out because the ice builds up, which was kind of, it just was. Anyway, she tried to settle our fears and our concerns. At the time, at that time, I did tell her that we were just unhappy the way the nurse had handled it. She said it was a call that she had delegated to a nurse, and I said, well, you need to. It's obvious that they need sensitivity training. This is not how you deal with people on a whole. Worse, a grieving family.
A few days later, Lewis and her family received distressing news that her mother's body was already decomposing. The family was not able to give her the send-off that they wanted to because they had to do a closed coffin funeral. Family and friends couldn't view the body. Lewis says this brought on additional suffering for the grieving family members.
When the undertakers got a hold of the body on, it had to have been the wee hours of the morning, the 22nd, so it was somewhere like 2 or 3 in the morning. They're starting to prepare the body. We start getting these alarming calls like about between 6 and 7 in the morning saying we're on our way with the body, but the body is in such a bad shape that you will not be able to view it, which just created this, it was just sheer grief. We were just all grief stricken. It was just a horrible thing. So she was brought there and we never saw her.
We couldn't open the box.
No, he says, I strongly recommend that you don't open it. His description, this was the Longsworth funeral services. His description, because he physically came to see us the morning of the funeral, which was the Friday, the 22nd, and he says, she's very, very swollen and distended to the point that it could be like kind of disfiguring. It was pretty bad. It's like it's a nightmare. We're so incensed by people having to experience something so horrible. And I just pray to God nobody else has to ever go through it. My mother's gone. There's nothing we can do, but I have all the time in the world and I'm going to see this through.
The funeral service, did they indicate if your mom was already perhaps in a state of decomposition?
Yes. She was already in a state of decomposition, yes. You have someone who's passed on. We expect that remains are going to be handled in a dignified manner. It's just very, very upsetting and it's so emotional.
Today we stopped in at the hospital for a comment from the hospital's administrator, Ernestina Hill, but we were not able to meet up with her. We spoke with the regional manager, Dr. Fernelda Gutierrez, who informed us that she would be able to comment on the matter until later today. This evening over the phone, she told us that, quote, the Southern Regional Hospital fully understands the sentiments and reasons why the family went to the media. Gutierrez later stated that, quote, the freezer malfunction shouldn't have happened, end quote. She said that they immediately took steps to correct the situation so it doesn't repeat in the future. Lewis says that since that ordeal, they have not heard from the Southern Regional Hospital. They're now filing a formal complaint and will take further action.
Nobody has contacted us. We've not been there. I don't feel like they're our ally. I don't feel like they did anything to try to diffuse the situation. I don't feel that they did anything as far as goodwill. And so I don't feel like they did anything that would have been in good standing or good faith to try to make a situation that went so horribly wrong, maybe not make it right, but at least to try to make an effort to say that, you know, they were doing something. We've never gotten a call from the administrator, nobody there. We are filing a formal complaint, and then we plan on taking legal action. So that's where we're going.
Reporting for News 5, I'm Andrea Polanco.